Hello everyone, in this video we're going to be doing the expenses chart components challenge from Frontend Mentor. So you can head over to frontendmentor.io/challenges and you can get this challenge. And then once you click on this challenge, then you're going to get this page and then you can click on the download files here. But since I've already started the challenge, then it says visit challenge hub. And if I do that, then you're going to get this button here that says download starter files, which is going to download the starter files for you. So once you click on this button, then it's going to download a zip file which is called expenses chart component main right here into your downloads folder. So once that happens, then I'm just going to extract this here, and then once it extracts, then it's going to extract into this folder that is called expenses chart component main, and I'm going to right click and say open with code. So as it opens up with Visual Studio Code, you see that we have some files inside here. We have the design files, which are JPEG images. We have our images, which is our favicon and our logo. And then we have our gitignore and our data.json file, which holds the data that we're going to be putting inside the bar chart or the bar graph, but we're not really going to be using this JSON file. And then we have our index.html, which contains our template and so on and so forth. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I don't want to work inside here. So I'm going to say Control and J, which is going to open up my terminal in Visual Studio Code, and then I'm going to cd out of this folder. So cd out of this and cd again and cd again, and then I'm going to cd into my desktop, so desktop, and into a folder called fm-challenges. And then inside here, because we're going to be building this in React and Tailwind CSS, then I'm going to say npx create react app, and I'm going to call this expenses-chart-yt. And then I'm going to let this run, and it's going to create a React app for me. So once this finishes running, then we are going to continue. And so once this finishes running, what I'm going to do is say cd into expenses-chart-yt, and then open Visual Studio Code into this folder, which opens up another instance of VS Code that I'm going to place to the right and this to the left, because we want to do a bit of copying and pasting. So once we have this, then I want to copy the design files, the images, the data.json, and you know what, the data.json file is going to be inside our source folder. So just drag and drop. And no, we're not even going to use the data.json file, but let's just have it inside here. And then I'm going to grab these three files as well as the images and the design, just copy them and paste them inside here. And then once we have that, then I'm going to get inside the gitignore, and I'm going to select everything and copy it. Okay, and then I'm going to place this to be full screen, and then inside this gitignore, I'm going to go to the bottom and paste this in, and then change this into line 29 and 30, and then change this into line 36, and then save this, and then you can close this, and then we can go ahead and we can delete this readme file, so this one, and then the readme copy we're going to rename into readme. So readme. And then let's see what else we need to do. We need to grab this images folder. Actually, not, let's just do this. Let's just drag and drop this favicon inside the public folder, and then we can delete this one. So delete. And then inside the index.html, we can change this into favicon-32 by 32.png, which means it's going to take up this new favicon. And then once we have that, let me save this, and then let's see. We can close the public folder, and then we can now drag this images folder into the source folder like so, and then the design files can remain inside the root, there's no problem. And then now inside our source folder, let's delete the app.css, the app.js, the logo, the report vitals, and the setup tests, delete them. And then inside the index.js, let's remove this because we've deleted this file, and then let's remove the import as well. And then inside the app.js, we can remove everything inside this header, and then let's just return on each one that says hello world. And then let's remove these two because these files no longer exist. And then before we can begin, I just want to install Tailwind CSS, and then I also want to install another package called react-chartjs. What's it called? react-chartjs 2, which is going to help us to draw our bar chart. So let me start by saying npm install react-chartjs-2, and then let's go into the Tailwind CSS website, and then we can install Tailwind CSS. So Tailwind CSS, let's go into the framework guides. Let's get create React app, and then we can copy this, and then we can let this finish running like so. Let's paste this in and let that run, and then we can copy this, and then we're going to let this finish running, and then we can paste it in. So paste this next one in, and then we can copy this part here. So copy this, and then inside the Tailwind config file that is just created, we can paste this inside here, and then we can copy this into our CSS file. So index.css, paste it on top like so, and then now we can start our server, but I'm not starting our server yet. So now what I want to do is I want to go inside our style guide. Let me close these files and this one as well. And inside our style guide, we have a font that we need to get. So DM Sans, we need to get the 400 and 700 font weights. So let me open this up, and then let's get the what was it? The 400 and 700. Did I say 300? So let's get the 400, the regular 400, and the bold 700. Let's use the import tab. Grab this. So it's DM Sans with a fallback of sans serif. So inside our CSS file, on top of this, we can do this, paste it in, and then inside here, let's define our font to be DM Sans with a fallback of sans serif, like so. And then let's check the root EM value here by default is 18 pixels. So let's define that as well. So font size, set this to 18 pixels, move this upwards, and then we can remove this margin here. We no longer need it. And we can remove this block as well. And then now what I want to do is, let me check the design files. Let's check the desktop design. Of course, it doesn't open up. So let's go ahead and let me open this up. So inside the design, let's check the desktop design. And so this is what we have for our desktop design. So we have a slight background color here. We have this section on top, and then we have our chart that is in the middle. So let's go ahead and let's do this first. Let's get these colors, and then let's get let's just begin with the colors first of all. So inside our style guide, let's go ahead and grab all of these colors. Do I need to grab all of them really? But okay, let's do this. Let me check. The cream should be the background color of the body. So copy this, and let's go inside the body, give this a background color of this, copy it and paste it inside. And then for the paragraphs, so let's say that for the paragraphs, I want the color to be medium brown, should be it. Copy this, that's the color, the text color. So this text color here is going to be for this part. See this part right there? And then let's go ahead and grab this color, should be dark brown. Copy this, and then I'm going to define that for the H1, because this is going to be our H1. Or really? Or is this going to be our H1? No, let me make this our H1. So for the H1, for the H2s, and this is going to be an H2, and this is going to be an H2 as well. So for the H1 and H2s, I want the color to be this one. Yes, that's the correct color. And then let's see, we want this reddish. Is it red? What color do they say here? Soft red and very pale orange. You know what? Let me save this, and then let's begin with this first of all. So inside of app.js, what we need to do is we need to import a few things. Oops. We need to import a few things. So the first thing that we need to import, remember we installed react-chartjs. So if you check inside your package.json file, you're going to find react-chartjs here. So we need to import a few things from react-chartjs, and we're going to say this. We're going to say import the bar chart, because we're going to be using the bar chart from react-chartjs. And then now we need to import a few things from chart.js. Now chart.js is installed when you install this, and if you check in your node modules folder, if you scroll down to chart.js, inside here, this is where we're going to be getting a few other things. So we're going to do this. We're going to say import. We need to import chart as chart.js, capital letters, and then we need to import category scale. So category scale. We need to import linear scale. We also need to import the bar element, and then we need to import the title, and then the tooltip, We need something else. If we need something else, I'm going to remember it, and this is going to be coming from chart.js. Now remember, this is called chart.js. It is not a JavaScript file. It is a folder, as you have just seen in your node modules folder. And then once we have this, then we need to say this. We need to say chart.js. So chart.js. So this one that I've just imported, dot register, and we need to register everything inside here. This is I, not you. Register, and we need to register the category scale, the linear scale, the bar element, the title, and the tooltip. Tooltip, like so, small t. So tooltip, like so. And then now inside here, in order to use chart.js, then we need to have an initial state, and the initial state here is our data.json file. But I'm not going to be using this file. Instead, I'm just going to hardcode them inside. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to say const state is equal to this, and then I'm going to say the labels. The labels here are going to be Monday, comma, Tuesday, comma, Wednesday, Thursday, is it THU, and then Friday, and then Saturday, and then Sunday. And then once we have this, then we also need to pass in data sets. So data sets, like so, and then pass in our data sets. Now if you have multiple data sets, then you just pass them in as objects, like so, but we only have one, so we're going to only use one. And then I'm going to say this. So we need to have a label here, and the label here is going to be spending for the last 7 days. And we're going to remove this, but I just want to show you that you can have this in. And then we also need to have a background color. So background color, and the background color is going to be this one that we have on the chart by default. So background color, let's check our style guide. Our style guide here, we did get the background color. Should be, is it dark brown? Wait, what was dark brown? Let me check. Dark brown is this one, so that's not the correct one. So let's check the very pale orange. Let me try this out. We're going to just do a bit of testing. So very pale orange, bring this here. And then we also need to have this background color turn to blue when we hover over it. So I'm going to say hover background color is going to be cyan. That's pretty obvious. So cyan, copy this and paste it inside here. And then once we have this, then we also need to add this slight border radius that we have on the bar charts. So I'm going to say border radius, set this to about 8. And then I think that's all we need inside our data sets. And then now we actually need to pass in our data by going outside of the, is it outside or inside? So let's pass in our data, and our data is going to be from our data.json file. So data.json, let me open this up here, just drag and drop it to the side. And then for Monday, so for Monday we have 17.5.45, and then for Tuesday we have 34.91. For Wednesday we have 52.36. Thursday is 31.07. Friday is 23.39. Saturday is 43.28, and Sunday is 25.48. And then you can close this. And then now remember that every value inside here corresponds to a label here. So make sure that you are getting this correct, otherwise you're going to have issues. Now let's go ahead and do this. Instead of returning hello world here, and you know what, instead of returning this, let's just get a fragment, and then we're going to have a div, and then inside this div let's return an h1 that says spending for the last, for the last 7 days, because that's our title inside here, our h1. And then below this let's have a bar chart, because the bar chart is the one that we imported from react-chartjs. And then the bar chart takes in a prop called data, and inside here we're going to initialize it into our state, which we have inside here, which is going to then populate our bar chart. So let me save this, and then now we can start our server by saying npm start. Okay, so once this opens up, then we have this on the screen, but you immediately realize that there is something wrong. And I think the something wrong is this one should be inside the data set. Sorry about that. So data, let's save this and let's see. And there we go. So we have this. Now this means that the background color here is not the correct one, so the background color should be a bit darker. So let's go ahead into our style guide, and why is node modules open? Close this. So inside our style guide, let's check this. What color did I have? What color did I make inside here? 33. So 33 is not the correct one. It's not this one. It should be cream. Let's try cream. Or is it soft red? I think it's soft red. Let's paste it here. Yep, it's soft red. So soft red. Copy this and paste it inside our background color here. Save it. There we go. So this is our color, and you can see that now this is our bar chart, and when you hover over it, we have the blue color, and then this is the tooltip that says spending for the last 7 days. But I don't want to have this entire thing inside here. I just want to have the value, right? So instead of getting all this, we can just remove it, or you can have it as an empty string, and then now when you hover over it, then it's just going to show you the number, and that's pretty much how it is in the design. If you check the design, where is it? Come on. Where is the active state for the design? Can't find it. There you go. So for the active state, it only shows the number that you have. And you know, because we're using a package, it's not really like one-to-one with the design, but you can see that the functionality is working correctly. So now let's begin to style this out. And we are going to do this. I'm going to grab this and cut it out and place it inside an article like so, because we're going to have another article on top, and this other article is going to be this like this red brown part here. So we're going to do this. We're going to have an h2, and inside this h2 we're going to have a span, and this span says my balance, and then the actual text for the h2 says, what was it, 921.48. so $921.48. And then below this h2 we have this part here, which is our logo, so we need to import that logo. So I'm going to say import logo from /images/logo.svg, and then let's go ahead inside here below this h2. Let's have an image, and the source for this image is going to be the, oops, did I delete it? I deleted. So the source for this image is going to be the logo, and then let's space out this article so that they don't confuse me. And then let's check this out. We should see my balance. Where's the logo? Where's the logo? Oh, here it is. It hadn't loaded in. Okay. And then let's add the background color to it. So let's go ahead and do this. For this article, let me give it a class name of, let's say, BG. You know what? Not even BG, because it's a custom background color. Let me get this color. The color should be the soft red. Yeah, it should be soft red. So let me give this a custom class called soft red, and then inside our index.css, let me access the class of soft red and give it a background color of, I don't know whether I still have it inside here. Nope, I don't. So background color, let's get the soft red, copy this and paste it here and save it, and we should see this on the screen. And then now let's limit all this because it's a bit too big. So inside this div, I'm going to give this div a class name of max with -xl and mx auto, which is going to limit it and push it to the center. There we go. And then now we can begin to style this out. Let me go ahead and do this. Inside this article, let me give it a padding of all round of 8. Let me give it a rounded of 2xl and a slight box shadow, which is going to do that. And then let me say this. Let me change the text into white, so text white. You know, let me place this to the right instead of switching screens all the time, so that I can just like code and save at the same time. And then let's do this. Let me add, because I want this to push inwards just a bit. So let me do this. Let me see if having a padding all round of 5 is going to work. Okay, there we go. So padding all round of 5 pushes everything inwards. And text white here doesn't work, so let me remove it from here. Let's go inside the h2, give this a class name of font-bold and text-white. See how this looks? There we go. And then let's go inside this span, give this a class name of block because I want it to go on a new line. And then I'm going to say text-base and font-normal because the font is lightened. If you check the design, the font is lightened a bit, and then this one is bold. So let's do that. And then let's do this. So inside the H2, I want this to turn into a bold font. So not a bold font, but to be bigger. So I'm going to say text-3XL. Let me see this. There we go. And then now inside this article, I want this image to move to the left. So inside this article, I'm just going to say display this as a flex and say items-center and justify dash between, which is going to push it to the end. And then let's go ahead inside this second article. Let me give this article a class name of bg-white and padding all around of 8 and margin top of 8. Let's see how this looks. There we go. And then let's say rounded-2XL with a slight box shadow. Okay, so we're going to have this on small screens. Let's access this H1, should be the H1. Give this a class name of font-bold, so font bold, and then let's say text-XL. Let's say text-3XL for small screens. I think that's too big for small screens, so 2XL for small screens. And then for medium screens, let's say text-4XL, and then for large screens, let's say text-5XL. Okay, and then let's increase this bigger. Okay, this is too big. This is too big. Let's remove this. Let's see. Still a bit too big considering this is like a small card. So let me make this into text-3XL. And then let's add a margin bottom of 2. Not even of 2. Let's say margin bottom of 5 to push it away from this bar chart. So that we're going to have this. Okay. Now I want to change something that I've just realized. I want that when I hover over this chart, then I want the cursor to change into a pointer. So we can do that by going inside the index.css and then accessing the canvas, because this chart is drawn on a canvas. And then we're going to access the hover state of the canvas, and we're going to say, when you hover over it, I want the cursor to be a pointer, so that this happens. That's much better. Now, once we have this, let's see what we need to do. And I need to change this title as well. Let's see what we need to do. We need to add a section below this section. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to go inside our app.js. We can close this style guide, I think. So let me say is it inside? Okay, it's inside this article that has a bg of white. So inside this article, I'm going to create another article, and then this other article is going to be structured in the following way. So we have an H2 and a paragraph. So let's do this. We're going to have an H2, and this H2 is going to have a span that says total this month. So total this month. And then the text for the H2, the number says 47833. So $478.33. And then below this H2, we're going to have a paragraph. And then this paragraph says a span that says plus 2.4%. And then below this, we're going to say this. We're going to do, what is it? From last month. So from last month. Okay, let's save this. Let's begin to style it out. It appears here. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is I want to add a border on top. So class name border-top. And then I'm going to say border-amber -600. Is it? How does this look? Oh, it's not amber. It's actually grayed out. It's not even amber. So let's make it to slate. So slate dash, let's say about 200. Make it like very thin, not so visible. And then let's go above. Where is it? Oh, you know what? I've just realized something. I should probably do this. I should grab this H1 and the bar chart and place it inside an article. And I know I'm using articles a lot, but that's okay. So inside this article, I'm going to give this a class name of padding bottom of 8, so that it pushes away from this border. And then I'm going to do the opposite here, where I'm going to say padding top of 8 to push it away from this border. So push it downwards like so. And then inside this H2, I'm going to say this. I'm going to give this a class name of font-bold, and I'm going to say bold, and I'm going to say text-4XL to make it a bit bigger than this one, because I think I had 3XL on this one. And then inside this span, I'm going to give this a class name of what is it? Not font, but text-base to reset it, and then font-normal to make it lighter font, and then make it a block element so that it goes on a new line. There we go. And then probably inside this span, I can make this span slightly opaque. So opacity dash 75. There we go. So that it like there's a bit of a hierarchy so that it's not completely the same color as this one. And then let's do the opposite for this. So inside here, we're going to give this span. Inside this span, we're going to give this a class name of, let's say, font dash bold. Font dash bold, let me see. I've just realized something. So you know what, instead of this being a span, let me change this into an h3, because I want this to be the same color as this one. And then we can go inside our index of css, and then let's add a comma h3 here, so that the h3 also takes this color. And then we can do this. So inside here we can do this. We want this span to be a block element as well, so that it goes on a new line. And then let me see, the span is to the end. So we can go inside the h3, we can do this. We can give this a class name of flex and items dash end and justify dash end, which is going to take this one to the end. Oops, it doesn't. Let's say flex column. So flex dash column. There we go. And then now inside this article, let's go inside this article, make it a flex box. So flex and items dash center and justify dash between, which is now going to make this and this one go to the end like so. And then let's make this h3 to be smaller, so text dash base. There we go. Now let me see, I want this one. This one doesn't seem to be bold. Is this one bold? Let me try font bold. I hadn't made it bold. Come on, font bold. There we go. And then this one, the span, oh wait a minute, this one should be font normal because the span is bold. There we go, fantastic. And then we can make this to be opacity dash 75, and then the span we're going to say opacity dash 100. That doesn't even work, so we can just remove this. Can remove that, and then we can remove this. And in order for this one to be like lightened like this one, then we need to do the opposite. So we need to say 2.4% on the h3, and then the span, so this one here is going to be inside the span, so that happens, which means this one is going to say font normal, and then this one is going to say font bold. And then we can go inside the span and say opacity dash 75. And there we go. Would you look at that? Fantastic. And then now what we need to do is we need to go inside this div, and I just want to push it to the center. So I'm going to say display this is the flex, and then look what is happened. It's going to break a bit, and then I'm going to say flex dash column, so that they go one on top of the other, and then items dash center and justify dash center. And then I need to add a fixed height here so that everything goes to the center of each screen. And you know what, I don't need item center, so item center is what does this, because I want this to go all the way to the end. So just remove item center, and we're going to have this. Would you look at this, looking amazing? And then let's scale it up. And actually, you know what, I already scaled up by adding the max width here. So the max width here always limits it so that it doesn't go all the way to the end. You can see that if I remove it, then this happens, and we don't want that to happen. So have it in, and you can play around with the max width to get like whatever value that you want. And would you look at that, this is our expenses chart. When you hover over it, it shows you the value that you have. And yeah, that's looking quite nice. Quite nice, if I do say so myself. Now what we need to do is I want to change this title. Let me place it to be full screen inside the index.html. Let me change this title into Frontend Mentor. And what's the name of this challenge? Expenses chart component. Okay, so once we change this, then what I can change as well, because I don't want these logos to be used inside here, so I'm going to delete them. And then inside here, we're going to target the favicon as well. So favicon dash 32 times 32.png. And there we go. And then we can change this color as well for the theme color. So inside our CSS, let me grab this one. I want the soft, is it the soft red? Actually, let me grab this one. Let me change it into hexadecimal, copy this, and then inside the index.html, Let me paste this inside here, which is going to change the theme color of the address bar on mobile screens. And then we can save this, and then now we can commit this to GitHub, and then we can submit our solution. So inside GitHub, we're going to create a new repository. I'm going to create a new repository, and I'm going to call this expenses-chart-yt, and then you can just say create repository. And then I also want to log into Netlify, where we're going to deploy our project. So copy this, and then let's begin to commit this. Let me close our server, and then I can just say let's do this. This is going to take quite a bit of time to commit. Oh my god, I hate this. Let's log into Netlify, and then let's do this. Let's begin committing it. So let me say git add design, git commit, and you can say design files. Okay, so once I've committed all that to GitHub, then I'm just going to say git remote add origin and paste in our link, and then I'm also going to say git push -u origin main. And if you don't know how to commit to GitHub, then you can just follow these steps inside here. So once this commits to GitHub, then I can reload this page, and you can see that our repository is going to be here. And we can now go into Netlify, and then we can deploy our new application. So Netlify, log in with GitHub. Let's say expenses chart. So expenses chart, let's deploy this. Loading, and then we can just say deploy site. And then we can go ahead and copy this link, and then we can go into Frontend Mentor, and we can say submit solution. The repository URL is this one that I've just copied, and then the site URL, I'm going to change this. So site settings, and then change site name. I'm going to change this into expenses chart. Let me add my name here, TsbSankara -expenses chart. So save this, and then we can now copy this link and paste it here. And I've just realized something, by the way. I've just realized I should probably add some attribution in the app.js. Attribution, where should I add it? Should I add it outside of this? You know what, I'm just going to add it in later. So inside here, let's say mobile first, expenses chart component using react.js and tailwind CSS. One letter remaining, one character remaining. So let's see if this one has deployed yet. And there we go. Would you look at that? This is our component. So we can close this, and then we can go back into Frontend Mentor, and then we can submit solution. Oops. Oh, this should be HTTPS. HTTPS. There we go. Submit solution. And there we go. So we have submitted our solution, and you can view your solution here by just coming to this and dragging and seeing whether it's working or not. So there we go. Looks pretty close to the design. I do like it. Pretty close to the design. So thank you for watching. That is going to be the end of the video. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.